All right, Pouring Nation, today's experiment is we're going to use colors with different pouring mediums together. I have Liquitex, I have Floetrol in the white, and I have the same red and blue, but with my glue mixture. They're all the same consistency. Barely makes a mound and goes away, so it's right in between regular and thin. And we're going to, I've broken up my canvas here, we're going to try all Liquitex, half and half with blue on one and red on the other, half and half swapped. Blue of the opposite kind, red of the opposite kind. Same thing for the glue. I didn't want them to mix, but ultimately I want this whole painting to be together, so I just made these little faux walls with tape that I'll pull off. And we're gonna see if we can't get different effects to happen when you layer a glue paint with a Floetrol paint with a Liquitex paint, because there are some other experiments I want to do, but I need to know how these paints interact together before I can do those experiments. All of these paints are Creative Inspirations. Creative Inspirations Crimson, Phthalo Blue, and Titanium White. I bought these to do my paint roundup, which I will have shortly. And I'll link that in the description below when it comes. But so far, I'm really digging these paints. It's no wonder why Molly, from Molly's Artistry, loves them. So we're going to get our cups out. We're going to do a tree wing pour on each of these because I think it gives me some good color separation and some regular color and some mix of colors. They're not all mixed. And I might have to do it again with a different technique, but today we're going to do it with the tree wing pour. So I'm going to start with white as the base in all of them, but just a teeny tiny bit. Barely covering the bottom. This is a 10 by 20 canvas, so that's 230 square inches. So that means I need about 6-7 ounces of paint. I have a little bit more than that here. This side's going to be Liquitex. This side's going to be glue. So for this one, it's going to be all Liquitex. Looks like I can do one more layer of each. Next, let's pour these out. All right, just some simple observations here. This had blue glue. This had blue glue. This had red glue. This had red glue. And look how the red took over and the blue took over. So the glue is making the color, at least while it's wet. We'll have to see when it dries, but the glue is making the color dominant, which is very interesting. That's exactly the type of thing that I want to see. Second observation, Floetrol does not like just working with Liquitex. Look how bad that looks right now. Just went everywhere. It's like that rose to the top and the Liquitex all went to the bottom. The lines and stuff on the glue completely are a lot darker, which that's been always my go-to glue for ring pours, just because you get the dark lines. With Liquitex you get the dark lines too, but the addition of the Floetrol white is what made this happen. So this is all very, very interesting. I also am getting a lot of cloud cells when we used all three mediums, which I've never seen before, and maybe an easier and cheaper way to get cloud cells. We'll see if they hold up to a little bit of manipulation here. So I'm going to tilt a little bit with the paints on, just to kind of cover everything, and then I'm going to take the tape off. I'm going to take the tape off and try again. To be honest, I want to leave it right here and let it dry. It's probably a little too thick. But man, I wish I had an easy way to get each one of those sections. I didn't think about that when I started. I probably should have done separate tiles or something for each one, but you know what? We're going to go with it. We're going to leave it like this, let it dry, and see what happens. All right, so here is the blue Liquitex red glue, red Liquitex blue glue, all Liquitex, all glue, red Liquitex blue glue, blue Liquitex red glue. Alright, before we talk about some of the additional things that I've learned from here, if this is the type of content that you like, please paint that like button down below. Last but not least, I always get asked what t-shirt I'm wearing. I'm not going to do a headshot today, so I'm just going to pop in and show you. It's perfect for a Friday afternoon. Okay, so macro, we're going to look at this high level first. The first thing that I notice everywhere is there are crazes and cracks everywhere. All along here, all in here, a couple in here, a couple on the outside, lots in the middle here. The interesting thing is, normally I've seen that with low quality whites. I don't think that's the case here because, like here I don't get any crazes at all, and that's the most white. Here I get hardly any crazes. I got a couple right here and a couple here. So I don't think it's the white that is necessarily causing this, although I'm going to have to do some more testing on that. What I think it is when you have two liquids, even though they're similar, they both have acrylic paint, they have a different pouring medium in them, you know, glue and Floetrol. The glue and the Floetrol, by nature, don't attract to each other. They may not repel each other, but they're not going to automatically integrate with each other. That's why we have to mix these. And I think what's happening is the different mediums with the paints are kind of sitting by each other, but not really mixing. And when they don't mix and then it starts to dry, that's what pulls those gaps apart. And I think that's what's actually causing all of this. I've actually noticed that before, and I'm fairly positive that that's what's causing this. So number one, mixing paints that have completely different pouring mediums is probably not a good idea for a pour like this where they don't get to mix a whole lot. We'll have to do some more tests on other types. Next, I want to get in close. Another thing that I pointed out before, the Liquitex all by itself with the Floetrol white did not work at all. It semi-worked here, but I got a lot of cracking and crazing. So that tells me that it's not the Floetrol and the Liquitex that are causing the problem, it's the Floetrol and the glue causing the problem. And since all four of these have Floetrol and glue next to each other, that is a potential cause. The second odd thing is that both of these turned blue and both of these turned red. And I want to show you some of these cracks kind of up front, up close. See, it's not the thickness of the paint, because the thickness of the paint on the inside was way more than on the outside, but I have a ton of cracks on the outside. So it's not really the thickness of the paint that's causing these, because I got cracks in the middle where it was thick, and I got cracks on the outside where it was thin. So my recommendation is, one, don't use different mediums for your paints. You might want to add a little bit of Floetrol to one of your paints that still has Liquitex in it and the rest have Liquitex in it, just to give some different effects, kind of like we do with the Deco Art satin enamels. But you really want all of your paints to have a similar makeup and not be completely different. Granted, I'm sure there's some cases where it works well, but for me, I wouldn't recommend it, especially for a new acrylic pour artist. So now, as we go in a little bit for a close-up, here's a few videos that I would recommend if you want to get cells with your acrylic pours.